Alright, in this video we are continuing with section 9.1a, and we're going to be looking at ways to simplify radicals. And the method that we're going to use to simplify radicals is prime factorization and factor trees. So let's go back to an algebra topic and let's look at prime numbers. So if you recall, a prime number is a number that its only factors are 1 and itself. So the first prime number is actually 2, we skip 1, and then the next prime number is 3, and then 5, 7, we're going to skip 8 and 9, 9 is 3 times 3, but 11, the only way to get 11 is 1 times 11, and then 13, let's do one more, we have 17, and this will continue on. So these are prime numbers, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to take a number and we're going to break it down into its prime factors. So we can see that 54, we just need some factors of it, are 6 and 9, and then let's look at the factors of these. Factors of 6 are 2 and 3, and if you notice, 2 and 3 are prime, and then 9 is 3 times 3, and those are also prime. So we end up with factors of 54 that are all prime numbers. So let's take a look at this in the context of how we'll be using it. So let's say we had the square root of 54. So we would do our factor tree and figure out that the square root of 54 is in fact the square root of 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. So I just took all these factors in this box here and put them under the radical. If I multiplied all this out, I would get 54. And then what I want to do is I want to pair things up. So here's a pair of 3. So I'm going to take those and put them under their own radical. So that's the square root of 3 times 3. And anything that doesn't have a pair, that's also going to go into another square root. Alright, and the square root of 3 times 3 is the square root of 9. So notice 9 is a square number. It has a perfect square root. And then we'll multiply these to get the square root of 6. Okay, the square root of 9 is going to be 3. Square root of 9 is 3. And then the square root of 6 is not going to simplify. And we get square root of 6. So 3 square root of 6. So if you plug square root of 54 into your calculator and get a decimal, and you plug in 3 root 6 into your calculator, you'll also get a decimal, and those two decimals will be the same. Alright, so simplifying radicals, it's a skill that you're going to need to have for when we're working on Pythagorean Theorem. We're going to be using prime factorization with factor trees, and in the next video we'll go through 2 more examples. So if you have any questions about this one, make sure you get help, and we'll see you in the next one.